scapular move, right? So a neuroscapular move is I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder and I'm going to lift. I'm going to go under with my hand and then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to cup the scapula right there on my the crease in my between my distal and middle phalange there. So I slip it under and I cup the scapula. I let him just rest on my hand. And then what I'm going to do is stabilize here pretty lightly, and I'm going to traction out and up a little bit. So I'm going to pull out and up. This feels wonderful. If you're working on a shoulder, I don't know if Lee's mobilization was this. This is soft tissue. His was bony, right? Yeah. Yeah, his was bony. This is soft tissue work. Yeah. So it's a pull out, and I still maintain his weight. I use his weight on my hand to get the traction. I'm not hooking my fingers, because if I hook my fingers, I'm going to stick my fingers in the traps of the rhomboids, and it's going to be pinchy or sticky, and I'll get the opposite reaction. So it's a shallow bowl. So it's out and up. You sustain it. Usually your hands give up before your patient does. And then when you need a break, you just slowly release, settle back.
Are you stabilizing with the top hand and also pulling?
Yes. It's not a pull, but more of a stabilization. Feels good? Let's go try that.
You want his hand to just kind of...
Let me put neurologically damaged or injured patient. The palm can set off a grasp reflex. Where do you see that all the time?
Babies.
Babies, yeah. So if you stroke a young infant's palm, their hand clasp, those reactions can happen in a neurologically injured patient too. So one thing that we want to do, you can go down below and I can catch the thumb, because in this technique, thumb control is important. If the hand is all curled like this and then I try and stretch, there's a lot of tension at the end. So one way you can do it, so go ahead and give me a light grasp. I'm going to put my hands on the back. So I'm going to put my hands on the back like that with two fingers, and I'm going to flex the wrist. And you can see the fingers soften or come down. I'm going to go in and get the thumb, fingers, bring them back. However you hold those is really up to you, but techniques that avoid the palm is what you're after. You can hold it like that, you can hold it like that. You need two hands like this. So anything I can do to avoid the palm. So give me a little tightness on your bicep. And then I'm just going to stabilize. And if I was on the mat over there, I might put my knee under his elbow, and I'm just slowly going to sustain the pressure. Remember, this is a sustained pressure, sustained stretch, slow sustained stretch. If you need to change, again, just avoid that palm. Slow, 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 slow. Eventually, it'll pop open. What's that called? Not a pop, but a release, quick release. Tight, 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 release. What's that called? Clasp knife. Clasp knife. Okay. And you see that more in the presence of fast clasp knife. And what it is I don't know, if you have a jackknife, you know, they're tight, 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 and then they snap, close, or open. Okay, so we've done the scapula, parascapular. Let's do the biceps.
What was the reason for that initial?
Oh, okay. So what this does, go ahead and curl your fingers. Kind of make it a little loose. So see if I do that. See how they open.
Oh, it forces it.
Yeah. Open. Grab the thumb. Grab the fingers. Okay, try that. The waist. That was last class. We brought the legs up and did rotation side to side.
Oh yeah, we did that.
Yeah. So I would actually use those same techniques for stretching to decrease tone in the middle. But for the leg, what you want to do is, so give me a little extensor tone, which is going to be both what? In what kind of posturing? Decerebrate and decorticate. Right. It'll be stronger in which one? Decerebrate, it's going to be stronger. So if you're working with somebody with a deep head injury, I mean, you're going to lift their leg and it's just going to be like a board. And you try and you can't bend. So you want to be careful about how you approach them. You want to make this comfortable for them. And for the most part, any kind of stretching to decrease tone or normalize tone feels really good. Your stroke patient may be a little agitated or head injury when you start. They may go to sleep while you're doing this because it feels so good to have that tone released. So one way we can do it is lift their leg, get underneath, and just put their leg on your knee. And I might put a little pressure, I might not, and so it's just the slow, sustained pressure. And eventually it'll give up and release, what's that called again? Clasp knife.
Ed, do you want to watch the hip when you're doing this?
A little bit. You mean whether it's going to come up? And you will.
Okay.
Because once you get a bend here, I'll show you some. So once we do get a bend, now we have to work on the foot because you may have some plantar flexion. Once we do get a bend, then I'm going to come up, and if I need to do the same thing to the other side, or if it's released, so then we're going to work more on the hip where we could do some rotation. And it's just hard to do that rotation until you can flex the knee.
Okay.
Now with the foot, so there's several ways to stretch the foot. Have you done foot ankle stretching with Lydia? No. One way is to put your hand under the heel and go like that. But the same principle is involved the hand as involves the foot, which is what? Don't touch the palm, don't touch the ball of the foot or the metatarsal heads. So the way that the stretch is done is you crisscross your thumbs like this, and I'm hooking the lateral and medial border of the foot with my fingers. And I try and keep them as lined up as I can. So you adjust them so that they're lined, and then I'm just going to lean proximal and stretch it that way. It works better on those type of tables where you can stand up and put your body weight into it a little bit. Like that. So can you see I'm not touching the ball of his foot, and I'm just leaning into the stretch. And in neuro, we tend to go around in our socks all the time because we're hopping on and off mats and things like that. So wearing good neuro socks like those are good. Once you've stretched there, then you may go in and release the leg. So that's what I want you to try. I want you to try the slow, sustained stretch at the knee with your neuro patient. He's floppy. So before he was high tone, now he's floppy. Yeah, flaccid. So do you remember what one of the techniques, remember we said was tapping? I wanted to show you what that looked like. You know, you may use that, I use it on relatively normal people that don't have neurological damage, because I think often when you have an injury, the brain forgets where the limb is. And you can see that it's true because even people who sprain their ankle, they limp even when they don't have pain. The brain does not remember how to function properly. So I want him to hold his arm straight, and he can't. So I need to ask him. One technique is just, I can say, I want you to look at your hand here. Don't let your hand touch your nose. And as it goes down, you may, don't let it bump your patient, but you may touch it and I say, stop it, stop it, stop it. Now I could ask him to push it away. Which is an easier contraction, eccentric or concentric? Eccentric is easier, yes. It uses more muscle spindle, more brain power. So which is going to be easier, stopping it or pushing it away? Stopping it, yeah. So as it comes down, I'm going to say, stop your hand, don't let it push. And that's what happens. Suddenly, the brain finds the limb again. And within minutes, they can start pushing it away. It's so phenomenal. It's so cool to see. They can stop that. Now, if you need to activate, I need to tell the brain where this is. So as it's coming down, I would tap. I'd say, slow your hand down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. So I'm using muscle spindle, I'm using eccentric, I'm using vision, everything I can to engage the brain into slowing that hand down.
Tapping of the when you start getting closer to his face, do you start increasing the intensity of the tap?
You could. And it's not a fast tap, it's just kind of a deliberate tap. We could use brushing, but I find the tap works the best and is the easiest. And we use that. We use it for a lot of things, tapping biceps, triceps. So just try that, and then we're going to go to lunch, and I'll see lab one. And you'll feel it go, it snaps back in. It's easier to get out, but you're still better off maintaining, whatever you need to do to maintain the flexion. Then you bring both feet up, and whether you've done that to that one too. So you're maintaining, you control the feet. And here is an opportunity again to stretch the middle. Remember one of the techniques was rotation. So you can just go really slow. Now if you start to rotate and you see his trunk lift, and then I go to this side, it doesn't lift as quick. Which side's the tight side? The one that lifts sooner. And actually he is tighter on that side. Can you see that? So that's where you can do the stretch. You can go to the side, you can stabilize at the shoulder, you can stabilize lower ribs, watch your hand, and you can stabilize on the hip and get the slow stretch. So what I want you to do, and I went too fast, I want you just to go slow. So assume that you've broken the knee, you've decreased the tone, it's flexed. Maintain that flexion, bring it up into this position, which one of the descriptions is semi-Fowler position. And then try the rotation. See if you can see, even in normals, if there's a tight side and a less tight side. And then do those 3 stretches: shoulder, ribs,